Oh, it smells good.
We came from the real poor town in Mexico. You know, we find a way to have our own property and start working legally. Yeah.
In a very well-produced recent CNBC cable special titled Marijuana Inc., former drug czar John Waters made a point that the Mexican growers in Northern California were supporting the cartels in Mexico.
The guys that do this are worst guys you can think of, cutting off heads and killing women and children without a qualm.
We do this for like what is hobby?
Like a hobby.
Yeah, like a hobby. You know, we stay here. We do a lot of jogging and a lot of exercise. You know, and what is good for our system. You know.
I tell the guys what the former drug czar John Waters said about the Mexicans supporting cartels.
Yeah, but first you came here, everybody look as like a rubber face. You know, like you're gonna rob me or something. But we don't come here to take somebody else's stuff. You know, we do this on a straight way.
How is your family? Are your families back home living a lot better now?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Now with the little money we make here, we can send our kids to the school, and we can get. Live well. Not rich, but we're doing well.
Okay.
Well, we've had some seed that my partner here brought from down north. He calls Mr. Nice Guy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Is that from that movie?
Nice guy.
Yeah.
You guys seen Half Baked?
My name is Teresa Blaylock, and I'm a substance abuse counselor. I've worked both in methadone clinics and in the California Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation as a substance abuse counselor. The drug companies couldn't patent marijuana necessarily, but the government, and really what the one governor in your last documentary said about, if we started taxing it and having it as a legal entity, then we could control it a lot better.
The effect you get with that one, it's kind of, you do like the name say, you smoke a little bit and you treat people better, like you be nice. Yeah.
I don't see marijuana as being a big hairy deal. Now, when I was young and my parents started smoking marijuana, that was a new thing and it wasn't quite so scary, and my parents allowed me and my sisters to smoke marijuana. I was really young and I smoked for about 2 weeks and decided I didn't like it, and so I quit.
Everybody goes where the money is, so if they legalize it,
yeah,
they're gonna go to something that you get more money out of than this.
If we did have marijuana as a legal entity, then, and that you could go and buy it at a marijuana distributing, it would be taxed, it would be controlled. We wouldn't have kids going in and buying it because it would be like alcohol. You've got to show your ID, show that it's okay for you to be getting it.
If California could legally grow enough high-grade marijuana to supply the entire state, and even most of the country, would it end America's need for Mexican marijuana?
Well, I mean, you look at what's going on in Mexico right now. It's like Chicago during the days of alcohol prohibition, Al Capone times 50. I mean, it's as if they're his figurative grandchildren or great-grandchildren, except they now have Mexican surnames. You look at the levels of violence and crime and corruption. Mexico's always struggled with this, but the illegality of the drug trade, its power, and their proximity to the United States has resulted in this really getting out of control.
Plus, they always blame on Mexicans. I don't know why. They always blame on Mexicans. They're Mexican cartels, Mexican cartels, they're in Mexico, and not here.
The Mexican government admits that by making drugs illegal in the last 50 years, they have created a giant criminal class that has bought off much of their government. And now, if the government doesn't make payments to the drug dealers, they will assassinate government leaders. They will bomb schools. They will attack newspapers if they don't make payments. The United States is in danger of collapsing into police corruption if we don't do what Mexico has begun to do, only through desperation, and legalize drugs, starting with marijuana.
When we ended the prohibition on alcohol, you think people kill someone over a beer? No, not anymore, but they're still killing each other over pot. Why? You go out and you work hard, you build a harvest, you plant. The buds grow, they go, great, oh wow, we got $1 million harvest. All of a sudden your buddies go, oh, I didn't kill these guys and make $1 million. So they go and kill their partners, and that's some of the crazy shit that's happening right now. So if you want to see the violence out of the drug war, if you want to see the violence out of America, you need to end the prohibition on marijuana.
Real good plant, you know, it's medicine.
We do this just to protect ourselves.
So movie still going. No, aquí estamos. We shoot guns because we want new bullets.
Tino de Michoacán.
I'm from Compa Canilla from Jalisco.
Gracias.
Zacatecas, Lalo.
Kevin Booth, Ireland.
El Cote, Zacatecas.
All right. Thank you guys again for having us here.
It's because of the example that California is going to give. You know, while people are coming into dispensaries and picking up their marijuana here nice and safe and going home, still in some of these inner cities back east, people are going to get their marijuana on the street corners, and they might end up in the middle of a turf war, might end up getting a stray bullet, might end up getting robbed, might end up buying something that they didn't think they were buying.
The more kids that get hooked, the better for business.
So we know why marijuana is enemy number one of the DEA and the federal government. It's a decentralized drug that has hundreds of health benefits that they don't control and that they don't get to launder the proceeds of, like heroin or cocaine that's grown overseas in limited areas and is very easy to control. They don't like it.
But the way some of their influences worked is the CIA's front companies become some of the larger advertisers in the magazines, so they can affect editorial control because they're friends with the editors, they're the big advertiser, they're like, hey, we've set up all these grow operations, so then the editors need pot pictures, so like, hey, we can bring you our garden or whatever, so they begin to have the influence. So that way the CIA doesn't necessarily own the pot magazines or didn't create them, but what they've done is they've been able to influence them with money, and they're able to deal drugs on a huge basis, and they don't fear prosecution so much.
Big Pharma hates it because